So I came across this video. It just actually popped up on my phone. It was Charlie Kirk, and he was debating some young black guy at a college. And of course, the video was put up by an African guy who was talking about how great Charlie was and how he brought the black guy to tears. The black guy never fucking cried whatsoever. And the black guy was actually fucking correct in what he was saying. But because you have a college campus full of white kids that are booing and yelling and laughing and thinking that Charlie is correct because they are ignorant and they have no idea or understanding of anything for real in totality. So you kind of have the blind leading the blind. You have like an ignoramus teaching other ignoramuses, and they believe in what they're saying without any actual knowledge or support behind the things that he is saying. So Charlie wanted to debate the guy. The boy was saying something about when he said, Charlie Kirk says, when he gets on a plane and he sees a black pilot, he hopes that black pilot, has had some sort of training, or that he will be safe because of the DEI, the, diversity, equality and inclusion, or whatever the fuck it is. This shouldn't even have to exist. That's why I don't give a fuck, because it shouldn't have to exist, right? And this is the whole point. And so Charlie Kirk begins to say, yeah, let's take the NBA, and then he goes on to say that if we put in a whole bunch of white people, because he says that, the NBA is governed right now by all black people, because then he goes on to say black people are actually just better athletes than white people. Okay. And so he says, so if we bring in white basketball players, then you have to lower the standard of the game, because DEI is racial quotas. DEI is actually making sure that every ethnicity, it has nothing to do with just black people. It has to make sure that women, as well as other ethnicities, because white men were dominant in all job factors. So that just says that this cannot just be all white men. That's what DEI says. So now he goes on to say, yeah, because they're going to have to lower their standards. If anything, because how black people are better at basketball and sports, as he stated, we are also not equally, we're not equally intellectual. We're actually overly intellectual, right? And our brain computes more because our whole body is a computing system. More so because of the melanin that we have that resides within our system as well, which makes our whole body a computing system, okay? And we rise better in frequency because of such, right? Which puts the genome a little bit under, and a little bit under, okay? We are here. I'm just saying, you brought up the conversation, so we're going to have the conversation. So no, it doesn't make sense that you're comparing physical agility to the mental capacity and intellectual capacity of people being trained in the same manner for the same job. We're not talking about a physical agility of a species of people. Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk, because you agree with your dumbass husband. We are talking about the intellectual capacity of being trained. When we are trained, we are naturally superior in our thinking power, period. But when we are trained, we will have the same training. Now, what you do with that training depends on the person. And how much training do you get? So if there are two pilots, one white, one black, they go in and get the same training, because DEI says, yes, you must let this black woman in to be trained. And so, yes, she's now trained with a white male over here. Now, when we go to the job apparently statistics and history shows that she would not get the job. Because why? She's a woman for one, she's black for two. So that means that the white male would get the job. Well, DEI just simply says you also have to fairly consider her for the job. So now that means we're going to look at the different things from school and scoring and job perspectives and different things like that. So then when you do that, that means that she has to be included, which is why we were already excluded, because of our intellectual power putting us above them, and we would always get the job. Okay, so then when we look at the score, most likely her scores are going to be better and she would qualify higher for the job. See, DEI wasn't in place, and that was the protection of white men. That was for the protection of white men and their jobs, okay? Because if we are included, then we are the fuck included, okay? And period. Now, he also went on to say about crime in Chicago, and 75% of crime is being killed. Blacks are being killed by blacks. Now, because he kept trying to overtalk the black boy and wouldn't allow him to speak, but because he's no longer here and can't overtalk anyone, I'm gonna go ahead and break down what the black boy was trying to tell Charlie Kirk, dumb motherfucking ass. So if you are looking at a specific area, because he kept saying East Garfield, right, Highland Park or whatever, if you're looking at a specific area where you have herded a group of people into one area, okay, and you're looking at that specific area and saying who's killing all of those people in that area, well, then it would be those people, because those people are confined to that area. But if we're looking at globally, white people genomes are the highest killers ever.